tell you, inside that building, you got prosecutors, you got duty counsel, you got judges, you have sheriff. They're not bad people, they're just doing what they're told, and police officers, all kinds. Now, I'm just going to use this little video. It might be a little bit long-winded, but just to explain what's going on in there. This is the Capitol, and when the Capitol, the government, does cutbacks, the first thing they cut is departments, and the first thing they cut is legal aid. The bottom line of these snobbish bureaucrats is if you don't break the law, you got nothing to worry about. So if you're a social assistant and it's a summary conviction, they tell you, like when I was arrested in St. John in 2006, you don't have the right to a lawyer. They will not give you a lawyer because it's a summary conviction. You are not going to go to jail. You understand that? You're not going to go to jail. Just plead guilty and you'll be on probation for 3 months. And then it's over. A lot of people go in there and say, I'm not guilty. Well, can you afford a lawyer? No, I can't afford a lawyer. Well, therefore, plead guilty. Can you represent yourself? Well, no, I don't know nothing about the justice system. Okay, plead guilty. And a lot of things, because you're not going to go to jail. You're going to be on probation for 3 months. So what happens? They turn around, at the end, they plead guilty. Now, the probation, here in Fredericton, we have what you call this secret police squad. There's about 20 individual plain clothes. I know one of them, Yves Desprez, but I'm not going to go. Okay, Charlie, calm down. Yves Desprez. But, they got about 20 of them. Their job is to look and follow people like Gestapo agents that's on probation, or if they're under house arrest, or if they arrest them off the street, like me. Sorry, I don't want to talk about me, but I'm just giving the example. When I was arrested last year, they wanted me to sign conditions in that police station, that Gestapo police station, that racist police station, that I shouldn't be in the corner. First they said block 300 on Queen Street. I said, Your Honor, I can't sign that. I have to go, look, City Hall. Brad Woodside just loves me showing up there with my video camera. But anyway, I have to go do some business at City Hall. I'm a blogger. Then they say the corner of Queen and Westmoreland, that I'm not allowed in that corner. Turn around. I said, Your Honor, I have to go across the Westmoreland Bridge. You have to go to the Westmoreland Bridge. Is one of the only access out of the city except the Princess Margaret Bridge. But nobody uses the Princess Margaret to go to the north side. They go to the Westmoreland Bridge. I said, I got to go across the Westmoreland Bridge. Oh, I said, I can't sign that. He said, you don't want to sign that? No problem. 2 days in jail. They put me in jail in St. John. They escorted me there. They cut off my medication. I don't know if it was orders from Bobby Simmons, the Fredericton Police Force, to cut off my medication, my puffer, my sleeping pills. I could have died. But anyway, never mind that. If I would have signed those papers, this special squad of 20 plainclothes officers would have followed me one day. And then I would have hopped in the car to go across the Westmoreland Bridge, and I would have been in the corner of Westmoreland and Queen. Then the SWAT team would arrive there and say, aha, breach on condition. You're not allowed to be in the corner of Westmoreland and Queen. Therefore, you're going to go to jail for months and months and months. And that's how they do it here. Like I talked to somebody, they never used to put citizens with mental illness, like me, put them in jail for a couple hours and make them sign conditions. They'll sign anything, especially if they're a smoker, to don't return to that cell. It's almost impossible to follow those conditions. Impossible. So these people with mental illness sign. And then the Gestapo squad, the Fredericton police force, just follow them around to make sure that they could grab them off the street and transfer them to St. John. I hear 70% of the population at the St. John Correctional Center are from Fredericton. 70% are from Fredericton. This Gestapo, this racist police force, their job is to make sure it's like a former chief told me from outside of the province. He says the Fredericton police force are bored. They're bored. There's too many of them and they're bored, and what they do, they say, okay, we gotta do something. And what are they doing? They're changing good law-abiding citizens like myself into criminals. In there, sorry, me, we're a rat, Sergeant Matt Myers, on January 16th. They were saying to my supporters and me, hey, it's a good deal, plead guilty to the disturbance charge of the blowhorn. And make a long story short, my supporters, we pleaded guilty. Bobby Simmons was in court when they said victim impact assessment. Hey, that wasn't part of the deal. And next thing you know, Bobby Simmons, oh no, nobody's going to testify, Charles. Everything's going to be all right, Charles. I said, what the hell is a cop in a justice room saying everything's going to be all right? There's something that wasn't right. 3 days later, she showed up at my place with 10 cops behind her. Charles said, good morning, Charles, you're under arrest. So the Gestapo was doing their dirty work within these walls. Now, tomorrow morning, there's a guy, a native from Tobique, B.J. Wolf. He worked at the Royal Bank, late 20s, handsome kid, polite, very polite. Every time Mr. LeBlanc, Mr. Dale, miss this, miss that, a polite kid. Now, I don't know the whole story of what's going on here. I was surprised when I went to the Royal Bank and I asked for B.J. Wolf and they said, oh, he's no longer with us. I thought he had a job with his talent, and he was a native with a success story. And I always told him the only bad part was he was a smoker. But anyway, next thing you know, he had a domestic dispute. I don't know how extreme was the domestic dispute. The cops arrived. And I always say the Fredericton police force are racist against the natives because when I was in St. John, there's so many natives in our jail system you wouldn't believe. So I found out he was in jail. Now, he was in jail for breaching a condition set by the Fredericton police force. And we found out later on that he contacted his ex-girlfriend. Okay, do I support if there was some violence involved? Was there? We don't know. I do not support violence against the opposite sex. But anyway, he had no hearing, none. It was just like put him in jail for months. And then a few weeks ago we showed up here. And BJ Burt wasn't TJ, all right. BJ Wolf wasn't the same individual as he was the last time I seen him in there. He was very upset. He didn't call me Mr. LeBlanc, he called me Mr. Blogger. I seen him, and I think this is what happened. I think he's been in jail for 3 or 4 months. The lawyer told him, said, listen, because he pleaded not guilty to the assault, but guilty to the breaching of undertaking. I think the lawyer told him, listen, here's the deal, plead guilty. He said, well, I'm not guilty. He said, listen, if you don't plead guilty, the courts are so logged off, they're so full, that you will have a trial in maybe a year. And since you've been in jail for 2 or 3 months already, and you plead guilty, and it's your first offense, the odds are the judge is going to set you free and put you under house arrest or whatever. First offense. Now, I'm sure BJ said he had no choice. He had to plead guilty just to get the hell, and I mean hell, out of the St. John Correctional Center. This is one issue we know. I wish myself and other people would get involved, get paid to watch what's going on in those buildings. There's a lot of misjustice going on, and we have to make sure that we let the government. It's funny how these 3 people just walk by and just keep on going, but that's okay. The power of the blogger. You know, see. Okay, that's okay. There's a lot of things going on there. I like Don McPherson from the Irving paper, but that's another story. Don has to stop publishing address of the less fortunate, because I even heard last week there was a less fortunate that was sentenced in jail for a month, and her place was broken into. So the criminals are looking in the newspaper for address or people that's bad, then they go and break into their place. But that's another story. We need a provincial public inquiry. There's so much misjustice going on by the Fredericton police force via the justice system, because this is like any other workplace. The judges, the duty counsel, the prosecutor, they're just one happy family. Like when I was there, they had duty counsel. What's his name? Doug Smith, I think. Totally useless. Totally useless. And just to give you an idea, Hillary Drain, she's the senior prosecutor. During the hearing of B.J. Wolf, which he's a Millicent from Tubik, his mother was in the courtroom. You know what her mom did? She spoke to her son before the judge arrived. Spoke to her in Maricet. Hillary Drain said, "What did you say? Rude!" Oh, that made my Scottish blood boil. Seeing, then they said, well, that's not racism. Well, if she would have spoken Francais, I don't think Hillary Drain would have said, "What did you say?" So right out immediately, it shows bias toward the natives. And she's the senior prosecutor of this area. We got a racist as a prosecutor. That's racist against the less fortunate. I'm not gonna get involved. But anyway, get upset. There's so much dirty work being done by the Fredericton police force. Don't forget, Barry Midnight said there was a double standard. We'll give tickets to the less fortunate. That was me, sorry, me. I got a ticket by orders of Dan Bissia, tyrant, fascist, Sergeant at Arms of the legislator, Dan Bissia, told the police to give me a ticket because he seen me on the sidewalk, riding a bicycle on the sidewalk. I showed up at the police station. I showed video and pictures of politicians jaywalking. They wouldn't do it. Barry Midnight set the stage. Double standard. One for the filthy rich and one for the filthy poor. Now, Leanne Fitch is the acting police chief. She hasn't said a word. She hasn't denounced the double standard policy set by the police force between the rich and the poor. So we're supposed to have a new police chief, In the next few months, I hope the new police chief, hey, I hope he's an immigrant from Ontario. Chinese would be much better, stern. And because the Fredericton police force has never hired an immigrant, a visible immigrant in their police force. Racism? No, of course not. But anyway, a lot of racism talk today. Until we have a police chief that denounce the double standard policy, this city is not going to go nowhere. They say the harvest and jazz, there were lots of people. But tourism, they say, is down the number. This city is getting a huge black eye on the way that the police are treating the citizens. So we need a public provincial inquiry. Some people say, well, stop, don't break the law and everything's all right. Bull, excuse my language, it's a blog. Bull fucking shit. I never used to break the law or whatever, but when you have police officers going out of their way to cause citizen harm, I don't agree with that. So that's my rant. I'm gonna put on top of my blog. It's just this double standard policy between the rich, the filthy rich, and the filthy poor must end now.